Previously, I went to Twin Falls, Idaho to investigate 3 Syrian refugees sexually assaulting a young girl at knife point, only to find out that my information was slightly incorrect.
Prosecutor addressed the rumors going around on social media. The incident was not a gang rape, the assailants were not Syrian, and the assault did not happen at knife point.
Many of my source articles were from Lee Stranahan, the lead investigative journalist for Breitbart.
But Mr. Stranahan was connecting dots that really had no business being connected.
The New York Times called it all fake news, but I think anyone that can take a local crime and use it to mobilize an unrelated conversation about refugees is a great journalist. Then I found out Stranahan was running a citizen journalism school.
Click right now, and we'll see you on the inside.
So I paid $200, and now I'm off to learn how to connect unconnected dots in my own reporting, just like Breitbart. I knew he would drop some amazing knowledge at Citizen Journalism School, and I wanted to make sure I'd never forget a precious word, but I didn't want to be obtrusive, so I recorded the whole thing on hidden camera.
Good morning, everybody.
I knew I was learning a lot because throughout the course he name-dropped the heavy hitters of the alt-right media.
Steve Bannon, Milo, Andrew Breitbart called me. Bannon with Alex Jones, James O'Keefe, Dog the Bounty Hunter. Here's another thing about Bannon.
Then it was on to the key lesson to being an effective citizen journalist.
One of Bannon's favorite films is a fairly obscure film, a documentary called Quaint Stanzi. It's got like slow motion footage or time-lapse footage.
That's right. Bannon loves the 1982 experimental film Koyaanisqatsi, a film that, among other things, cleverly compares humans to Twinkies.
It's kind of an avant-garde film. He rips it off constantly.
And Stranahan taught us how the film worked. If you put 2 unrelated things in a sequence, let's say a hot dog factory followed by people in New York, that creates an idea in the audience brains. New Yorkers are soulless products. You can keep swapping out the second image, and the audience keeps creating a new third idea.
The audience fills in. You see what I'm saying? It's not there.
It's so helpful to me to think about journalism as an avant-garde film.
Because it is. That's what it's become.
I knew this was a huge idea, but I wasn't quite sure how to apply it to my own journalism. Then, as I was reviewing my notes, I saw this video Stranahan posted the day after I left Citizen Journalism School.
Somebody had infiltrated, and I didn't know who it was.
We figured out who they were. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Kobi.
Oh no! Stranahan had mistaken my filming him undercover for filming him undercover, and he spent the next day and a half posting angry videos about me.
We tell the truth, unlike the media establishment that you work for, and you can't dispute it, and if you can, I challenge you to do so factually.
But fortunately, it ended on a high note.
Anytime you want to talk, you can talk. You got the number.
My hero wanted to talk to me one-on-one, so I invited him to New York to give me a private lesson. I had finished Citizen Journalism School, and now it was time for Citizen Journalism Grad School. Who knows what amazing lessons I would learn? How do you define citizen journalism?
One of the ways you could define it is somebody who does journalism part-time, not professionally. I'm very critical of mainstream media. I see a lot of people talk about bias. I see more laziness.
I mean, this makes sense. So the journalists that do it as their full-time job, they can get lazy, but people that do it on top of another job, they might be more energized, they might be able to go out and, with their hunger, get more stories.
Maybe.
I was burning to ask about Twin Falls. My own reporting there had hit a wall. What had Lee done differently?
In the case of Twin Falls, there was a cover-up about it. That's what was interesting. It's a child sexual assault. There's not going to be public records.
Did you report that juvenile records are sealed by the police? He didn't. He did frequently describe it as a cover-up in his stories, though. But despite all his great reporting, the New York Times still alleged that Stranahan was there to report on a Muslim takeover.
All of that reporting that was like, oh, it's a Muslim takeover, I thought that was BS.
There was a radio appearance where you said this was a Muslim takeover. If this is the interview I'm thinking of, it was along the lines of, is the mayor a big Sharia supporter?
I was actually sort of mocking the idea, because you can hear me laugh when I say it.
Is the mayor of Idaho a big Sharia supporter? That's what we're out here on the ground getting to.
And we both laughed about that as hard as Stranahan did in that radio interview. After all, he wasn't even writing about Muslims.
I go on to say, basically, like, no, that's not what happened here. This is about globalism.
I've just done some word counts of all 14 of your articles from Twin Falls.
Yeah.
You mentioned the word globalism or globalist 8 times. You mentioned the word Muslim or Islam 45 times.
Right. Why?
Because it's a story about globalism.
No, because you're reading
the stories. Wait, hang on. You're reading the stories that got published. You're not reading the stories that didn't get published.
Son of a bitch. Citizen journalism is like jazz. It's not the stories you publish, it's the stories you don't publish. And that's when I finally understood what Stranahan was talking about with journalism and avant-garde film editing. The Breitbart style of journalism is all about what you don't say explicitly. You just put two ideas next to each other and then...
The audience fills in. You see what I'm saying? It's not there. It's not there.
It was just like the mayor had said about Stranahan connecting the dots.
Mr. Stranahan connecting these dots that didn't exist.
I went back to Stranahan's Twin Falls articles. Turns out this is the very method that he and Breitbart used. He never outright said ISIS was in Idaho. Instead, he took two unrelated thoughts and put them side by side. Then he lets the audience fill it in with a third thought that connects the two. This isn't sloppy reporting, as so many have claimed. It's purposeful and methodical. It lets alt-media sites say things they can't prove, but also lets them deny any accusations after the fact. I'm aware of the thing you're doing.
Which
I
is
recognize
what?
this tactic.
Which is what?
It's called plausible deniability.
No, it's not called plausible
It's a thing that
deniability.
cowards use to say hateful things
No.
and then not have to own them.
What you're doing is called bull cherry picking. That's what you're doing. And this is why you are an asshole.
I was being an asshole. I aggressively pursued a story that was or was not there. Which means one thing: I've graduated citizen journalism school.